When it comes to child protection, we often tell ourselves a simple story. The danger comes from monsters in the bushes, and the law's job is to lock them away. But the data paint a different, less comforting picture. Most child sexual harm is committed not by strangers, but by people children already know, and those are often other children. That fact alone should change how we think about abuse prevention. Yet our system still treats criminal law as the default answer to every case of unlawful sexual behaviour, even when the person responsible is a child. In England and Wales, that can mean as young as 10 years old. If child safety is our aim, then criminalising problematic sexual behaviour is counterproductive, because it means staying silent is safer than seeking help. The statistics bear this out. In England and Wales, over half of sexual offences against children are committed by under 18s. And the most common age for those charged? Not older teens or young adults, it's 14. Labelling such young people as lifelong sex offenders is less about prevention than it is about punishment. And punishment alone does not stop abuse. Of course, criminal law has its place. When someone forces, manipulates or exploits a child, then prosecution is essential. But it is a blunt instrument that can actually work against the aims of safeguarding. Victims are reluctant to speak out when the abuser is a parent, sibling, cousin, friend or boyfriend, someone they love and may rely on for emotional and material security. The thought of that person being dragged through the criminal courts, sent to prison and labelled for life is often too much. Silence feels safer. Even the line between lawful and unlawful sexual behaviour is drawn inconsistently across Western Europe and North America. In Germany, the age of consent is 14. In France, it's 15. In the UK, 16. In Ireland, 17. In Malta and many US states, it's 18. A relationship seen as acceptable in Berlin could land you in a courtroom in Boston. If safeguarding was simply about age and maturity, then you wouldn't see such variation. That inconsistency should give us pause. If a 17-year-old dating a 15-year-old is legal in one place and criminal in another, maybe criminal law is simply the wrong tool. There is a smarter alternative. In England and Wales, the Civil Family Court already deals with delicate safeguarding issues like forced marriage, domestic violence and child welfare. Similar non-criminal courts exist in many jurisdictions worldwide. They can hear cases with more nuance than criminal courts allow. Why not extend that to problematic sexual behaviour that may be deemed unlawful, but falls short of rape, indecent assault or other clear criminality? For criminal proceedings, a high standard of proof is required for conviction. Evidence has to be beyond reasonable doubt. In practice, that means that many allegations by young people are not pursued by the Crown Prosecution Service. Of those that do get to court, a significant proportion result in acquittal, and that means vindication for the offender, a blow to the victim, both of whom are left without support or intervention. Action through civil courts requires that evidence be on a balance of probabilities, a lower standard of proof that can facilitate intervention and prevention in less clear-cut cases. In a civil pathway, judges have more than just a blunt hammer to respond to sexual harm. They have tools which, while less brutal, are more appropriate to preventing further abuse. Courts can order harmful relationships to stop, mandate therapy, require education, and intervene proportionately to prevent harm. If a civil order is breached, the matter escalates to the criminal court. This keeps children safe, while lowering the stakes enough to encourage families and victims to come forward. The ethical advantages are clear. These include lowering the barriers to disclosure. One of these is that children often feel responsible for unlawful activities they have been coerced into, particularly if they have found them exciting or even enjoyable at the time. Both victims and offenders are more likely to seek help if that doesn't automatically mean police raids and handcuffs. It means reduced stigma. A 14-year-old doesn't need to be saddled with a criminal record for life to be held accountable. And it means consistency with youth justice. We already accept that children are different from adults in every other area of the law. Sexual harm should be no exception. Thankfully, I was not abused as a child, but this is still a personal issue for me. As a teenager, I wrestled with the attractions that I didn't choose, and I feared that I might be one of those people the media warned about. Thanks to supportive parents, I learned early on that feelings are not the same as actions. I've never offended sexually and never will, but I know how different my life might have been if the only narrative available was fear, shame, and criminality. Professionally, as a solicitor and safeguarding specialist, I've seen what happens when fear drives families underground. Too often, child victims fear that they will not be believed, and, tragically, the criminal justice system confirms that assumption. Stigma keeps victims silent and cuts young people off from help. By contrast, when the response is firm but compassionate, prevention becomes possible. None of this means being lenient. A child's pain is no less real because the perpetrator is young or a loving but misguided adult. But if our goal is prevention, then we must ask what really works. Criminal law will always be needed for serious abuse, but it cannot be the only tool in the box. Prevention is about effectiveness, not leniency. And if you are serious about safeguarding, it's time to stop mistaking punishment for protection. This video comes to you from Free Radical Media. It was written and presented by me, Danny, and edited and produced by Zerk. We are also the presenters of the Deviants podcast, which is right here on this channel and available on most podcast outlets. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, you may, of course, subscribe to this channel and drop this video a like if you found it interesting. Feel free to comment below and let's work together to stay safe. Thanks for watching.